All right, if we're continuing with the Friends motif, this is the one where Kevin realizes that he actually has gels for his light, and so I look a little less grotesque on camera. So, what happened yesterday? Because that feeds into what's happening today. I hit some really good milestones. I started using batch natural language unit processing or testing for Alexa. And the thing that does, which is really valuable, is that allows you to, in a separate testing environment, write down, here's what I want, here's what I'm going to say, and here's what I expect to have happen. And that can be run as a separate set of unit tests. Why is that valuable? Because that then allows you to test the model completely independently of all of the other code. I know I've been talking about testing a lot, but the reason why is because I'm trying to tighten these loops as much as possible. So I did that last night. I also hit a really good milestone where I figured out how to, one of the things that I was struggling with is how do I reliably test a rule system that involves random chance? Because if I want to test the outcome of what happens, say, if I hit or I miss under certain circumstances, how can I do that in a unit test? And I found a way to essentially seed the random generator. So basically I can get a predetermined result. Shortest number of words possible, it means that there's certainty in testing a system that involves uncertainty without involving a huge amount of hacks. So I'm pretty happy with that. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to put together a Trello board of all of the specific individual pieces of functionality and testing that I want to develop today. Because I've hit a point now where with a combination of the testing I've been doing on the front end, developing the model, local Lambda unit testing and unit test cases for the back end, I've hit that magical click point where everything is just falling into place. So now implementing specific cases is really straightforward. I've hit that point where I've gotten over the bridge of let's get all of this together and now let's just hit the gas on actually implementing it. So putting together the skill, getting the Jenkins build going and everything else, it now means that everything's happening automatically. The natural language unit, the NLU testing that I was talking about before, I've put that in Jenkins as a separate test. Why? Because I don't want to run it regularly, because it takes a good minute in the browser for it to finish. Now I just get a little pop-up notification if I break something. It's exactly what I want from my development process. I just want to be focusing on what I'm focusing on, and I want to know if I then go and break something that I didn't expect. So I'm going to sit down and put that Trello board together. I'm also going to do that because I need the guidance. Now I need specificity because my sleep hygiene is probably getting worse, not better. Part of that is because it's really difficult to put this down at the end of the day because I'm so excited about what I'm doing. It's just a lot of fun. And so especially once these things start clicking into place, one of the things that I'm going to be working on, probably not today, but this week, is I'm probably going to take the rest of this week to flesh out the combat model because I had a consult earlier this week with Ashley McCowan, and she mentioned a concept which has stuck in my head since, which is the idea of time dilation with actions. So now I'm playing with this idea that some of the commands that you can send in combat will effectively cause a tick in the game engine. So then basically you may get a response from, if you're in combat, then whatever it is that you're fighting against. The world itself has a chance to move. For other moments, it's kind of more frozen in time. And I think that that's a really interesting and a really powerful metaphor that allows people to engage with things more, because I want this to feel like a chess-like experience. So, it's a whole lot of words. So what am I doing? I'm sitting down and putting the Trello board together first today around those specific test cases and functionality that I want to put in place. And to give an example of like how quick it is at the moment, like before I went and implemented a weapon type which disables the system, turns it offline. Done. Like that took maybe 2 minutes. Implementation and test case, and then feeding it into the actual cycle of testing. Probably, to be fair, it was actually a minute. Yeah, anyway, it was a short amount of time. It was very short. And I didn't have to do the thing that I've been doing up until this point in time, which is go into the browser, fire up the skill, try and dig down to the point that I want to get to, and then exercise that particular piece of functionality. See what happened. It didn't work. Why didn't it happen? Let's go look at the cloud formation logs. So much shorter. So much shorter to get what I want working done. And now I can do that at all layers, which is super exciting. But I'm a little sleep deprived, so I need that guideline. So I'm going to put that Trello board together. I'm then going to shift over to hitting the art of game design because I'm so far behind on reading at the moment because I've been working on the development side of things, but I've been really, it's a great problem to have. When I sit down with that book, I love it and it blows my mind, but I've been triaging my time. I've been trying to get the prototypes working. So I'm going to do my reading for today. I'm not going to try and double up on that. I'm just going to do one block of reading, like one allocation of one day, and I'm going to figure out next week like how I'm going to play catch up with that book, but I'm not going to try and overload myself to squeeze in for this week. And then I'm going to get back to doing the actual implementation, the coding side of things, because that's a much better evening activity with the energy that I have at that point. So that's me for today. I'd hoped to reach this point earlier, but I'd forgotten how stressful it is just going out and shopping at the moment, which I did yesterday. Like, what a world we live in where that is it's a major, montage. It's a montage experience. Just gear up, you go and shopping. So I'm glad to have that out of the way though. And I don't have a lot to complain about. Like, stores are stocked, we're home, we're safe. So I feel pretty fortunate, especially to be able to focus on all of this. I say this constantly with the stuff that I put online, but it is absolutely not a privilege that I take lightly or for granted at all. I hope you are safe. I hope you are well. I hope that your headspace is treating you well, and I'll see you all tomorrow.